Hello everyone and welcome to this swords and stats guide. We will look closer to the different handles you can attach to your sword and of course the blade itself. If you don't know how to craft weapons yet, link for the weapon crafting tutorial is in the description. But let's get straight into it. Don't get overwhelmed, no panic on the Titanic. We will look on the handles first. We have weight, dura, blunt damage, piercing damage, slashing damage, and the strength requirement. I've tested all these with the same stats, with the same skill levels, and with the same material of course. As a little side note here, please don't use bone tissues for slashing weapons. I'm just used it here for testing purposes. So if you're crafting a sword, then the handle is not really important as you can see here. So just for example, the dura in percentage is set in relation to the highest durability. So the highest durability from the one-hand weapons is the heavy hilt, and in relation to the turned hilt, the heavy hilt have 2.9 durability more than the turned hilt. So just for example. In the strength requirement it also don't see much, but if you calculate that up to a steel sword, that could make the difference from you need 65 strength or maybe 62 strength, depending on, yes, what weapon you use. So for a hybrid, for example, this information is very important. And at the two-hand swords, it seems not much. But if you use, for example, ogmium or some really high-end materials, then these numbers will change. Sure, the dura and the strength requirement is different, but also the blunt damage changed a little bit. It could be a round issue. But now, to rate the handles, I invented the oven cheese measurement. And because of the durability, the heavy hilt won with a whopping 911 oven cheese score. I'm pretty sorry if you feel offended now. And from the two-hand weapons, the clean crossguard hilt won because of the durability and the weight. And I like the looks of it, but I like the clover a little bit more. But anyway, before I'm starting to talk more bullshit, same test, but only with the blades, of course. And for the one-hand weapons, I used the heavy hilt. And for the two-hand weapons, I used the horned crossguard hilt. The damage difference don't see much, but please keep in mind that this is the base damage. So if you, for example, increase your base damage by 5 points or something, it could make a damage difference out of 30 points or more. It depends on your damage bonus, your aggressive stance, the defensive stance of the opponent, how long you charged your swing, and all that stuff. So an increased base damage of just a few points, like 2 points or 3 points or something like that, is a huge difference. If you would compare a heavy great blade made out of tungsteel, for example, with a great blade, then the damage difference will be 7.52%. And yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. Because if you don't use shitty materials like I did, then the damage output after the whole damage calculation, if you're, for example, your big Tuzar and stuff, and you hit someone, that makes a very huge difference. Also very important, the great blade, for example, is longer than the heavy great blade. The weapons in Mortal Online 2 are objects in the world. That means if your item, your object, your sword is longer, then you have more reach in combat, of course. And also the weapon hilts, the sword hilts, if you use a bigger hilt, then your sword is longer, you have a few centimeters more reach, and it's more likely that you get an equipment hit because your handle is so big. I just realized now we are talking about big things. Sorry for getting off topic so often. But the weight is also a very important factor. With less weight you can charge faster, you can hit faster, you use less stamina. So please don't only craft your weapons for the full damage and stuff. You need to find the weapon that fits you, that fits your character, that fits your playstyle. Swords are often used by hybrids because of the low strength requirements. But there it just depends on how much strength you have. And also the weapon damage for hybrid is not so important. So if you have a low strength build, whatever it is, I recommend you looking more into the weight because of your stamina drain. So you first just need to figure out what is more important to you, a few percentages of damage, a few more percentages of stamina. Or maybe you just go full damage, Tuzar build like I do. And then you have to also calculate in the blunt damage, for example. Yeah, it seems strange to calculate blunt damage in, but around 25% or something get actually added to your damage because a sword don't only do slashing damage. And if you, for example, have a bait aim like me, you maybe make sometimes a handle hit, and yeah, you should also use a few blunt materials in your handles. And yes, again, it depends on your playstyle. But now to the final conclusion. In the one hand category, the heavy short blade won the oven cheese. I mean the 9 out 11. It is a highly scientific value that I didn't came up with 3 minutes ago. And in the two hand category, the heavy great blade won 911 oven cheese for you. But in my opinion, the heavy great blade is too short, but I will play the normal great blade. It has more reach and it looks better. Speaking of looking beautiful, I will show you the different weapon hilts. That was the turned hilt, that is the curved hilt. Oh yeah, that looks sexy. I personally like the horn hilt, but also the heavy hilt. That looks more like a normal sword. Yeah, the looks are just more personal preference. Oh man, I don't like this handle. This looks not good. No. We have the back sword blade, the straight blade. Oh yeah, that looks also pretty good. Then we have the straight blade. Yeah, that is a pretty basic good blade. And my personal favorite, the straight back sword. I like the katana looks, it looks so sexy. The heavy short blade is also a very good option, but yeah, it's a little bit short. And the all-time favorite, the short sword. Okay, let's look at the two-hand weapons. We have the clean crossguard hilt. I like the looks, it looks pretty good. It's just a default look for a normal medieval sword. Then the horned crossguard, that also looks pretty good in my opinion. We have the ring crossguard. I don't like this one. I mean, it looks not so good in my opinion. And the clover crossguard. I really love the clover crossguard. That looks more like a very expensive sword. So we have the basic great blade. We have the heavy great blade. I like the basic more than the heavy. The crossguard great blade. That is the one with the low strength requirement, and the great crisp blade. I really don't like the looks of it, and it don't look cool. It just looks, I don't know, it seems off. And here at the end of the video, just a little hint. You should learn the weapon materials and you should learn what they look like. Yeah, I know in a fight it's very fast, but if you are a weapon crafter, you will always know what the weapon of your opponent is made of, and according to that you can adjust your playstyle, because then you know the playstyle of your opponent. For example, if you're fighting someone with a triple spear and he has jadeite. For example, jadeite is no material that you use for spears, but if you use a triple spear and you just do more slashing from left and right, then you use jadeite. And exactly that tells you that he prefers to hit you from left or right, instead of poking you with the spear. Sure, he will also poke you, but it just tells you the preference of that guy. Same if someone uses very light materials for the weapons, then you will know that you're probably fighting a total noob or a hybrid. Don't underestimate the knowledge of materials and how they look. It can save your ass. I really hope you find this video helpful. Please leave a like and subscribe. Ring the bell that you don't miss any future videos. Always remember to make party hard. And goodbye.